Yes, sir. Thanks, Kyle. All right. Yeah. I call this special meeting to order, March 24th, 21st, 2024. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Feels like we were just here. The purpose of today's special meeting for the Sweetwater County Board of County Commissioners is to consider and potentially take action on the McGee, Hearn and Pies audit report for year 2023. There is a quorum present with all 5 commissioners in attendance, 4 of us here in person at the commission chambers, and Commissioner Jones is remoting in on Zoom, also in attendance. Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear us on your end?
I can. Good morning. Thanks for having the Zoom option.
Absolutely. With that, commissioners, we do need to approve the agenda for this special meeting. So I'd entertain a motion.
Chairman,
Commissioner Richards.
move to approve the agenda.
Got a motion to approve by Commissioner Richards. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Toman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous. We did get the special meeting notice out after our meeting on Tuesday. Thank you, Sally, for preparing that and getting us set up for today. Obviously, the only item today is our action presentation for the audit report. We did get an update from Stephanie on Tuesday with McGee, Hearn and Pies. There was a little confusion on where the ball was dropped, so to speak. So I did want to take a moment to apologize. It was indicated that perhaps it was an internal issue here at the county, and as it turned out, that was not the case. But since then, seems like we got everything straightened out, and this body has been able to receive the full audit report and go and review it over the last couple of days. Obviously, Stephanie went through it on Tuesday pretty in depth, but we were kind of jumping around trying to keep up with some of that. So, commissioners, if you've had a chance to review it, I guess I would open it up for any questions you may have for Stephanie, and or if you'd like to share anything additionally, Stephanie. Commissioner Jones, I see you unmuting.
I shouldn't be.
Oh. Stephanie, did you have anything you wanted to add before we open it up for questions?
Just wanted to publicly apologize. I shut off.
Not able to hear you on our end.
I shut off the channel to let him know that I had done some sleuthing in my office and the miscommunication that they would have in our office. So I apologize for the time incident.
So we can just barely hear you. It's not that you're muted, but your connection's not coming through.
I will be right back.
Now we can hear you. That one came
is that
through.
better?
Yep.
Okay. I apologize about that technology. I got a new webcam since I saw you guys earlier this week. So
no problem. Whatever you said, if you could please repeat it, because we didn't hear any of it.
Absolutely. Well, it was just an apology. I let Chairman West know that earlier this week I did some sleuthing on my end, and the miscommunication happened internally within my office. And so just wanted to publicly apologize for the inconvenience on your time last week and today. So I sincerely apologize about that.
No problem. Appreciate that. We'll move forward accordingly. Commissioners, at this time, I'd open it up for any questions you may have on the audit report.
Mr. Chairman, I did have one question.
Commissioner Tillman.
I noticed in the component units that you listed conservation of natural resources. You pulled that one out and put it with component units when there were a lot of others too. Why did you specifically pull that one out?
Yes, ma'am. Do you have a particular page that I could go to?
Oh, no,
Let me look really quickly.
Only 110 pages. You don't remember that by memory?
I should have because I noticed it. It was towards the end of the 100 and some page one.
Okay, let me look really quickly if you don't mind.
And we don't have that one, do we? Have that one?
Yeah, you should have all of them.
We don't have that one today. We only have the 10-page R response letter.
Here, let me go ahead and share. Let me share, and then I will. We can look together. We talk about.
No, the other one
We
is
talk
just
about
a
component
letter.
units, and we talk about joint ventures or other entities that have a tie into the county. And let me see if I see what you're talking about here. I think that it's probably in this footnote here. There's the airport, the water board, combined communications, the joint powers board. Does that look familiar for what you were seeing?
I have no idea because I can't see it.
Oh, you
What pa-
can't.
What page are you on?
I am on page 54 or PDF page 63. I'm trying to see. There's the hospital.
Conservation District.
Yeah, it says conservation of natural resources. It is different than all of the other public service types, social types of programs, but I just thought it was interesting that it
Yeah,
was pulled out when we have all sorts of other ones too.
Yeah, I want to definitely find the specific page that you are
I
looking.
believe it's PDF page 74, perhaps.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That helps a lot. Oh, so this is your budget to actual statement. And I can verify, typically we lay these out in a way that's very similar to the approved budget. And this might be kind of how they roll up into these individual expenditure line items. Might be a holdover from how Bonnie combined things in the past. We left that very similar to however the budget to actual statement was presented in the past, but that ultimately is what drives that line item.
Well, it was good that you have it separated out. It's just, I was curious because you have so many other social programs
Yeah.
under those component and they
Yeah.
weren't pulled out.
Yeah, that could have been a commissioner preference from the past, or an internal management preference. And so there might have been something in the past that made that kind of important to pull out. There's not a ton to guidelines for how that has to be done on our end. And so if there are other ways that you all prefer to see it going forward, I mean, all of those things can be made, changes can be made.
No, I think it's good that we are doing something with natural resources, and that's the only thing with natural resources in the whole budget. So I don't object to it. I was just
Okay,
curious.
perfect.
But I do hope in the future that we could get a written copy at least a week before, but because it's really hard to understand this and to do it overnight is nearly impossible.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I fully understand that.
Hey, Stephanie, I've got another question for you. It's on PDF page 7 of the report. It's under the financial highlights.
Mhm.
And on the very last bullet point there, it's talking about the finance leases and the
Yes.
primary government decrease by the 537. During the year, the county entered into a finance lease agreement of $423,000. Can you elaborate on that? I'm trying to remember
I can, let me
what this
pull
is.
something up on my end really quickly.
The page 4, PDF 4.
PDF page 7, actual page,
Actual
4. This
Four.
has to do with, and I think we actually have a footnote on it a little bit later, a new lease. Let me get to it.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Richards?
could those be our heavy equipment leases?
I think they are, and I think that there is a new footnote, or there is a footnote that talks specifically about some of the terms on that. But I'm almost positive, yeah, that's what that is. This year you had one new lease to acquire equipment and vehicles.
Perfect. I could not for the life of me think of what that may be, but
And then
that
we-
makes
yeah, we
sense.
did that with our police vehicles too, so.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Any other additional comments, questions, commissioners? I guess overall, I mean, it's a clean audit, which is something to be proud of. That says a lot of the dedication here within, that department and those entities that are working through this. So we appreciate having the foresight of being able to review everything. And I guess one question I would have, and we kind of talked about it on Tuesday a little bit, but obviously there's been some, position changes within the county and some, I guess, new faces working through some of this process. And so are you able to, or were you able to during your time here, see any things we should be doing differently or have any suggestions that may help with the process, just kind of as a 30,000-foot view?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I think for us, the biggest noticeable area was probably just lack of understanding of how the whole audit process comes together. So I think that all of that was kind of housed within one individual in the past. And so when that person wasn't there anymore, right, there wasn't a great, set of standard operating procedures or, instruction manual or anything like that, where somebody could jump in and pick up and go and really understand how to drive that process. That doesn't mean that within your network, there wasn't a lot of great information. There was, there's a whole folder about the audit process, the modification of the financial statements from modified accrual to full accrual, how information gets pulled in from the component unit. All of that was, in a folder, but roles, responsibilities, who does what, that wasn't really greatly defined for the team that was left to kind of drive the audit process. So if we were going to make a recommendation, it would be like everything, having a really good set of standard operating procedures or, guidelines to help drive that particular role and processes. We would definitely recommend that you consider implementing cross-training. I think Chairman West, you mentioned that earlier this week. Cross-training is really good. What we see particularly at clients where the folks that have been in those positions for a really long time get near retirement, there's not often great succession plans. So what happens if Cindy retired? What would happen from that? How would someone step into those shoes and be able to seamlessly pick up and move forward? And so if that was going to be a recommendation today, it would be that, is to work on developing that set of standard operating procedures or cross-training guide that would help you be able to seamlessly move between things without like a ton of drop in progress there.
Okay, great. No, I appreciate that. I didn't mean that in a critical way, just more as, something that we can help support as we all kind of transition through this new phase. So
yeah, and
that's good
honestly, this is
information.
not unique to the county. I mean, if you just big picture think of it as a succession plan, we see that at at very small entities that don't have a great process in place to define that, all the way up to, you know, state of Wyoming. We audit the state of Wyoming. So agencies and departments at the state who struggle with having those things and a good plan for succession. So it's not unique to the county. It just was a situation to navigate this year.
Yeah. Okay. Any other feedback, commissioners?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Slaughter?
just an overall comment on audit in general. I'm very pleased with what the audit is in a clean audit. I'm somewhat disappointed, however, with as large as the scope of the county is, all of the entities that we have. You know, in the past, it seems like we've always had certain areas, whether it be a segregation of duties issue or something of that, where I felt like each time we had the audit, I felt like it was an opportunity for us to learn from some of the mistakes that we were making. And not seeing that, it's great that we're not making them. I just find it hard to believe that we're not making some of those types of issues. And in an audit of this scope, you know, once again, I'm just somewhat disappointed that there isn't something out there that was found with all that was done with it. Once again, I think it's been an opportunity to learn in the past, and, you know, hey, if there aren't any, fantastic. And obviously that's what this is showing. So it's just somewhat surprising to me, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman West, through you, Commissioner Slaughter, I think to your point, the audit report itself is really only set up to communicate the most critical of items. So things that we think rise to the level of a significant deficiency or a material weakness. So that doesn't mean we didn't identify smaller things where at the county or at the component unit level where there were small items or things for growth and opportunity. They just mean that they weren't big enough to actually go into the audit report. Thinking about the role that Bonnie previously played as an example, had the county not gone out and sought extra assistance, you know, for someone with skills, knowledge, and experience, that potentially could have been an area where we said, we just think you don't have the right people in the right places to be able to appropriately drive, you know, your audit process, pull together the financial statements, but you very quickly navigated and pivoted and brought in that resources. So that would be an example of an area that could have been something that rose to the level of a reportable item. You just were able to adopt and find the resources that you needed this year.
Stephanie, is there any place, obviously not in the audit report itself, is there any place else where you could supply us with something with some of those other potential things where potentially we could be doing something a little bit better? And I think that alludes to basically what Commissioner West, the chairman, was referring to. If there is anything like that, I think we would certainly be interested in seeing that so that we could get ahead of some of those types of issues also.
Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner, through you, we regularly in our audit keep a list of what we call management advice like items. And those aren't formally communicated. They don't go on letterhead. Typically, they tend to be verbal in nature. And we're happy to put together something and provide that to the commissioners that you all could see. They're small things, right, that we talk to various departments about throughout the course of the audit, but happy to share those things that we shared with the management group.
Super. I think that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other feedback, commissioners? Well, if not, we do have the approval of the McGee, Hearn, Pies audit report for Sweetwater County. Hearing no further feedback or questions, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Richards,
so moved.
got a motion to approve by Commissioner Richards. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Slaughter. Any further discussion?
Who signs? Just you on that letter, right? That engagement letter and Cindy.
Yeah, there's
So you need
few of the
to
component
add
units
and
too.
to sign. Your motion
So added.
and authorize the chairman to sign.
any further discussion? We'll get that. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion is unanimous. Thanks, Stephanie, for coming back and taking the time to answer our questions and being flexible with that. We'll get this handled next year, and hopefully we won't need an extension next year too. So we appreciate your time and look forward to any guidance you may have between now and then.
I appreciate it. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, as you think about things. I'm happy to jump back on and answer anything that might come up.
Very good. Thanks very much.
Yeah, have a great day.
You too. Commissioners, that is all we had on our agenda today. So with no further business, thanks for your time and flexibility in everyone's schedules today, but this meeting now stands adjourned.